Angry guy here. And women are destroying the male spirit as passport bros leave. Women are destroying the male spirit as passport bros leave. Guys, this is something else. We have an article for you here, and it's absolutely sad. All right, so let's just jump into it. Woman explains how marriages are ending because of the inability of men to talk about emotions. This crap all over again. It's because men don't know how to cry. Because men don't know how to be more like women. Relationships are a two-way street in all aspects, and this was article is written by Kajal Shah. I'm assuming it's a woman. Relationships are a two-way street in all aspects. While partners do cover for each other every now and there still needs to be a certain level of balance. Over the past few decades, the institution of marriage in the United States has seen a significant decline of about 60% since the 1970s, reports CNBC. While there are various factors contributing to this trend, content creators Katie Halon, who goes by the Katie Halon on TikTok, has mentioned some less discussed yet crucial factors that can often lead to relationship breakdowns. Okay. And she says, Halon says that men inherently don't express their emotions a lot. She calls it normative male alexithymia. I butchered that, which may sound complex, but boils down to something quite relatable. Difficulty in naming and talking about emotions. She believes that the issue in individuals, particularly men, struggling to articulate their feelings might be one of the hidden reasons why many relationships and marriages face rocky waters. Because if men knew how to cry more, everything would be okay. If they sat down with their wives and girlfriends and cried like a woman, everything would improve. She argues that normative male alexithymia isn't a problem that just goes away on its own. Instead, it tends to get passed on to the women in relationships with men who haven't quite mastered the art of expressing their emotions. While some spouses might choose to weather this storm, Helen acknowledges that countless women worldwide grapple with emotional distress within their marriages, knowing that their partner's emotional reservations may persist. Guys, before we continue, I want to talk a little bit about this. There's a person named Sydney Goodman, and she used to work at IGN. She worked at IGN. She was on the Daily Fix. She recently struck out. Well, recently, like maybe more than a year ago, she struck out as an independent. So she's doing her own thing now. She still pops up on IGN from time to time, though. And she hosted was like a co-host at the Game Awards. But that's not why I bring her up. So she's actually known as what they call a simp queen. There's a bunch of simps who call themselves the Goodmen because her last name is Goodman, and so they call themselves the Goodmen. They're a bunch of good, really polite simps. And there's actually a video about how she accidentally became a simp queen, but that's not why I bring her up. Why I bring her up is because she was married to a man that I perceived as quite somewhat effeminate. I remember looking at his Instagram, and he on his Instagram he posted a picture of, like, I don't know, his wedding band or whatever, and saying, I did a thing. Like, this guy was pretty effeminate. And they got a divorce. I wonder why they got a divorce. Now, Sydney, I think she's a lovely person, although I don't know her personally, but there was one red flag I had with Sydney, and that's the fact that she used to work at BuzzFeed. And if you know already, BuzzFeed is one of the most leftist websites on the planet. So Sydney went out, got a guy that could cry and open up about his emotions and was very much in his feminine energy. And what ends up happening? Because she's a hot chick, they break up. And I can't help but think that most marriages where you have a man and a woman who are in this relationship together, if the man cannot play his role, if the man cannot be in his masculine, then how can the woman exist in her feminine? The truth is that so many of these women today are so far deep and exuding masculine energy, right? That they don't know how to be in their feminine. They're constantly trying to challenge the man and push the man into a compromising situation. Women tell men what they should be. Isn't it interesting? Women tell men that they need to be more like women, while men tell women that women need to be more like women. What does that mean? Women tell men that they need to be more feminine. Men tell women that they need to be more feminine. It's so sad because women are trying to transform men into women while men are begging women to act like women and just be themselves. Be feminine. Be fit, feminine, friendly. But in Western society, it's no longer possible. And now you have this woman tearing down men because men won't cry. They don't care. They don't care to understand the way men think, the way that society treats men, why men choose to keep certain things to themselves, and how women and society responds to men who express their emotions and open up. All right? And to be very clear, men don't enjoy crying. We'll cry if our buddy dies, if our dog dies, but if it's over some problem that we're having, we typically won't cry because it won't do anything for us. And for women, it's like a release. And for a guy, this ain't doing nothing for us. And when a guy starts bawling his eyes out, usually it's pretty damn bad. I'm not saying a guy can't tear up if you watch the sad movie. Some guys can. Men can express emotions. The problem is that we express them the when and where we choose to express them. Women want us to break down and express things that we don't want to because we process things differently. All right? It's not that we can't name our emotions. It's just that women don't like the way we express our emotions. They don't like the emotions we express. They don't like when we express them, where they express them, how we express them, because they want us to be more like them. The irony is that they don't want those types of men. They don't actually love those types of men. They try to control those types of men so they can do whatever they want to in the relationship and go out and hook up with the guy that they want to. Look at Destiny. Destiny is married to this woman who has an OF. I mean, she's on a site that's like OF, putting those pictures out there, and she's like so proud of herself. And they're in an open relationship or something like that. So basically, Destiny sits in the corner. This is true. I'm not making this up. So while she's making love to another man, Destiny sits in the corner watching. This is true. I am not making this up. And this is their relationship. And if a man doesn't want to be with a woman who has a high body count, this is what she said, that he doesn't want a woman, he wants a child. And a man that can't do what Destiny does is insecure. If you can't sit in the corner and watch as your woman is making love to another man, you are insecure. This is why these women want to tear down men, so they can do whatever they want to do. And guys, all this is doing is destroying the male spirit, because men are constantly being told you're not good enough, you're defective. Basically, girl behavior. This has been happening for decades. You can only imagine what boys are going through in schools right now, being told that girl behavior is the A+ standard. All right. And boy behavior is a D-. Like, bro, you're failing. You're failing. You're close to getting an F. Like, you're about to flunk out because of that boy behavior. You need to be more like the girls and carry yourself like a lady. But you know what's interesting? What's interesting is now you have a lot of pushback from women, all right, when men are becoming women. While there are those who are like, yeah, it's great, there's also a lot of pushback now because you have a lot of guys like Leah Thomas that are going in and getting that money. And now they're going after poor Leah because Leah is rocking out and they can't handle it and they can't compete. There's backlash to Dylan Mulvaney because Dylan is going out getting their money, charging like $40,000, $50,000 for every speaking event. And they're furious because you've got a lot of them like, what? Dylan is here making this money off womanhood? They're angry. They're absolutely furious now. And you know what's interesting? Something very funny about being a man. Even if you change your sex on your driver's license, even if a man changes their sex on their birth certificate, correction, not just driver's license, on their birth certificate to female, they will that still legally does not exclude them from being drafted. So even if you change your gender identity on your birth certificate, the government will still draft you if you were born a biological male. What does that tell you about the government? Because they're pushing all this inclusivity and even will allow you to change your gender identity on your birth certificate. But no matter what, they still hold you as a biological male. Hence, they can still draft you, and they will draft you. How crazy is that? It's absolutely sick how these groups operate, because they talk about inclusivity, but they're not really being inclusive. They talk about accepting people, but they're not really accepting, because you have women who are trans and they are legally women, but then when the government needs men, they're like, oh, well, we're going to treat you like dudes. See what I'm saying? So what does that really say about the government? You have women like this that are tearing down men because it feels good to them, because they want to do whatever they want to do, and they enjoy male suffering. They enjoy male pain. They want to destroy the male spirit until there is nothing left so they can do whatever they want to do. Because I've said this once and I'll say it again. Every woman has some deep down despise for men. Every woman, no matter who she is, every woman hates men just a little bit deep down. That's what I truly believe. Every woman has a misandric view of men, has, even a little bit deep down. For many of them, it's not even deep down, but every woman has at least a little bit of misandry in them deep down, where they have a strong disdain for men. It's a part of their soul, it's a part of their spirit. And they can't stop, won't stop, because this is who they are. Guys, what do you think about this? Women are destroying the male spirit as password bros leave. What do you guys think about this? All right? Because they won't stop. I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. If you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.